and it's 20 euro stakes. I don't really know the pool. For me, everyone is unknown, and so far I just assume that everyone is some kind of recreational, but I will be still kind of careful to play, so I'm not going to ISO the bottom range against recreationals. That's why I didn't even consider ISOing. Okay, so my opponent is checking the turn, and I think his range is usually quite static, so he'll call anyways or he'll fold anyways. That's why I go for a little bit bigger sizing here on the turn. Usually I think my opponent is kind of weak. So if I have a pure bluff there, then I'll not even consider betting so big. I think like just betting like half potish is totally enough if you was if you were floating in this situation. Okay, now he was min raising. I think this is already a pretty clear sign that he's a regular. So like reads also work like this, right? So every time someone is doing something that usually recreationals don't do, also means that they are less likely recreational, right? So he wasn't limping, he wasn't 3xing, 2.5xing or something. He was just c-betting the flop and then check folding turn. So it looks very regulish to me. Okay, antes are now in, and I think up to sixes I would open jam. Sevens is like the first hand I'm going to raise and call against an all-in. That's a decent flop. I think like I'm totally unknown in this pool, so they don't know if I'm a reg or not. I don't think I'm getting check raised very often here, so I'm just going to put like a small bet in. Yeah, I had need to act fast last time. I was just timing out very often. Okay, so in this situation, my opponent can have a jack or he can have a very strong draw. I never beat my opponent, and therefore I'm just simply folding. And GTO wise, this shouldn't be a fault, but I am going to. He was raising very fast. He was raising to 3x, and it was just like this. And people don't bluff like this. So this is like kind of exploitative play already, but yeah, we can simply fold there with our pocket sevens. Still like to see bet. Yeah. I think it could be some very aggressive opponent who is doing this at like very randomly, but yeah, like usually people don't do that. Do you use timing tells? I might use timing tells when I play one table or maybe two, but over that, very rarely. Yeah, heads up there are actually not too many changes. I think if you play heads up, like basically the same as with antes or without antes, you wouldn't lose too much. So I guess you could still play like a limp only strategy, and it's still like it's just a difference shorter when there's like barreling, when there's open jamming going on, open jamming and calling. There are some differences, but other than that, I don't think so. So if he has a 5 or a 3, I think the likelihood of him calling again is pretty high. We have an 8x with a pretty decent kicker, so I'm going to pot bet here. I think it's still a clear value bet, even if the kicker is not that strong. And I think people are underestimating the strength of the hand here. If he would have a hand like Queen 8, he would very likely just raise the flop. So he has a 5x and a 3x. And some people are very sticky, especially on overcards. Therefore, I go for polar sizing there, also quite loose with my value hands. Okay, antes are in. He seems to be a rag. I'm just going to ISO jam. I just assume he won't have enough traps ever here. And this is something I might do like in the very first game or second game against one of the same opponent. At some point, I'll probably play a little bit of a different strategy. 3-3 deuce, it's not the best flop. I could see bet. He was already check raising once, so I think King 7 is actually not bad to go for a check back. On low card, you go for the same sizing turn. That's a good question. I think yeah, probably yes. Probably yes. Except it's completing a lot of things, then I would go for a smaller sizing. Okay, so he's checking again. Usually this is kind of weak, so I think I'm going to actually value bet here with my King 7. Value betting / protection bet. Yeah, like King 7 is the best hand most of the time if he's checking this turn, because people tend to just pro bet most of their pairs on this kind of board structure. Yeah, let's check back the 8 deuce. Not the worst check raise. I think GTO is still not in there. If someone is c-betting too wide, I would flick it in because it has a back to straight draw, back to flush draw. Yeah, but I think we are just going for a fold. Okay. The queen deuce. Didn't ISO so far, or at least not much. And folding. Yes, so I would use some kind of RNG if I would play regularly. I guess even on these stakes, it might make some sense. A deuce would usually go in my big size. I actually like it. Let's do it. It's a little bit too big. Like I would. Nah, I mean it's almost 12 big blind, so it's fine. Uh, yeah, just limping. Okay, that's a gutshot heavy board. I think we have a pretty good combination to actually barrel. So we will bet the flop. If he's calling, we are bombing the turn on blanks, especially on blanks. This is not a blank. This is not a blank, but I think this is, he could have something like 9-6, etc. So he will have hands that will call turn and fold river. So I think it's not the best. It's not the worst card. He might have something like 6-3 that he's not folding. That he's now folding. So yeah, and of course we can make the nuts as well, right? That helps. Yeah, but I like on a deuce I'm jamming, and I hope to fold out some like 9-8, 9-6 type of hands. He called. I don't know what he called. What he called me with. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. I guess he hit a 2-pair with my 10. That would be the only explanation. I don't think he would ever call a 1-pair hand there. Okay, nice. That went quite well. Five. It's a fold. Okay. It's the same player. I just see this. I didn't pay attention to the screen name. Okay, again, min raise. He has a Ukrainian flag. I guess he's Surak. Let's just assume. Okay, so 2 regulars, pretty likely. I will still play a like more exploitative strategy. Small blind versus big blind. So the 9 deuce suited, I would have just limped. I don't think people like. It's the first game against this player. Okay, what did just happen? He min raised 8-7 off. That's too loose. Okay. Okay, that's too loose. Good to know. I mean, there are no antis in play. 8-7 off is not a hand we should min raise. Okay, it's still level 1. Ace 8. Yeah, definitely going to rejam this hand. If he's operating 8-7, he'll be just too loose. And then I can add Ace 9, Ace 8 offsuited into my rejamming range here. And definitely all rejamming, like at least GTO, like all the Jack 9 suited, 10 9 suited, I'll definitely rejam here as well. Maybe adding some King Jack offs, Queen Jack. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Maybe even some non-land 3-betting might make sense. Okay, so he's limping. This hand should be a mix. I think checking is fine, raising is fine. Let's just check it back this time. Yeah, so we're just calling. And well, the 7 is completing a lot of draws. So now I have like Jack 10 as a draw, and not too much. I think we can just bet here very often. We are lacking draws here, like we are lacking bluffs here quite heavily, and we have plenty of value bets. Okay, so he's a rag, 7-4 off. He probably now knows that I'm probably not the recreation because I didn't do something weird. Let's go for a fold. Actually, not 100% sure if this is a fold or not, GTO wise. Yes, with antis, definitely jamming. We are not even effective, not even 17.5 big blinds deep, but less because he has 10. So I would say like more like 15. Oh yes, that calling, of course. Nice domination. Okay. Splitty potty. It's fine. Definitely jamming this one first in. Okay. Maniac from the VPI. So you have a little bit of stats here, but I think they are kind of useless. He's jamming. It's fold. Yeah, I think against it, like he's just raising a ton, and even GTO wise, this is also in the region of three bet jamming. Okay, interesting. So he's using he's min raising hands that should be open jams, so he will have a wider raise call range still. So even though he's raising wider, he'll still not have a huge raise fold gap. Still means that we can rejam like the Jack 9 suited type of hands. But also that maybe some of the offsuited ones won't be that great. Like the ace four off, if he's going to raise call pocket fours instead of open jamming, then he might do the same with like pocket threes and pocket fives. Then his raise call range is a little bit wider. Yeah, but probably still not too much of yeah, it will still be possible because he will have too many combinations that will raise fold. Okay, so this guy again. Yeah, an Ipoker, I'm not going to play a second table. I'll just time out too often. Like no time back is just not really good. Okay, so he's folding directly. It's fine. Pocket sevens, easy rejam. There's really not really an alternative, I think. I mean, actually, against some players who are really tight from the button, this might, like, theory-wise not be a rejam, but then, like, usually 25 PBs deep, people are just, wow, what the fuck? I mean, that's bad. That's, like, really bad. Ace 10 is, like, break-even-ish call there. Then calling an ace 9, I think that's clearly really not good. Except he thinks I'm a recreational and I will rejam, like, super loose. But I don't think so. I mean, he saw me. Okay, maybe it was a really good play because he saw me rejamming ace four off. If that's the case, then like chapeau, then adding ace nine to your calling range instead of folding this hand actually makes some sense. Oh, come on, so close. Would be so nice to have a 20K live on stream. Okay, yeah, he's unknown, so not going to rejam, just going to call here. I think it's simple. Yeah, it's already not even half pot. I think I'm just going directly to fold here. Not going to raise. I mean, ace seven is also like kind of bad. If I would have ace three, ace deuce, these kind of hands, we can go and throw into a check raise, and then like all the like 8-6 of hearts and 10-9 of hearts and queen tens. What else? Like these kind of hands would be okay. Ace seven, it's close. I actually am marking this hand. Ace seven off on Jack 5-5 rainbow against, what was it, around 50% pot, right? It was like 40%. Yeah, something like that. 40 to 50% see bet size. Okay, so that's fold. I mean, on Jack 5-5, you also don't see too many barrels, so maybe it wouldn't be like the worst play to just call and then it goes check, and then we might win a showdown sometimes. But it will be close. We're pretty close. Yeah. It's standard as well. Actually, one of the strongest hands we can have here in a small blind. Yeah, we are full stacked. It's GTO fold, but I think we are getting away with that. Full stacked. Usually I don't, I just open raise these. He shouldn't have many. He can have a couple of ace X's, but he'll probably regen them. So he'll have plenty of like king queens, jack tens, etc. And that's not the worst card. I don't mind this too much. This is a bad. This is a bad run out. Let's hope he has king queen without the club. Yeah, okay. So king seven of clubs is not supposed to be a call. Small blind. On small blind. Oh, he actually had the nuts. Yeah, that was pretty poorly played. Like he shouldn't expect me to bet some random. Yeah, I don't know. In his shoes, I would have bet myself all the time, I think. And well, just for pre-flop. So we might assume he's recreational, but maybe not. Okay, so Ante's are in place. King five suited seems to be a reasonable open jam at 11.3 big blinds with Ante's. Without Ante's, this would be just simple fold. Very close. It might be a raise call, a raise fold, but yeah, I think king five suited is just a fold. But with Ante's, it's an all in. Yeah, and if he's jamming correctly, this is a call as well. So we have 30 big blinds. He should open jam definitely wider, and then include a lot of like suited queens that we dominate, like queen four suited, etc. Okay, that's a pretty bad one for us. I think this should be this should usually go into the min raise and call. Yeah. Would you take a note because he was not able to value his correctly hand? No, I wouldn't take a note there. With the king seven, no. I don't think I don't know how this note would benefit me. Yeah, I'm simply going to check and fold. Like he's betting 2 into 2.5, so almost pot betting, and he was betting pretty fast. So I don't see how what good can happen here on the turn except like a 5, and therefore I'm just going to fold. King four suited should be an open jam here. Again, effective stack size pretty good. Yeah, of course. The a7 off hand. Yeah. A7 offhand. I'll take a look. Of course. Yeah, I mean, I can, when there's nothing happening, I can just explain a little bit. I don't think it is a mistake. I think the call is kind of break-evenish, depending on how good my opponent is playing. I agree. This probably should have been a call, especially when people are not really aggressive, very aggressive post flop. Then you should just check all this hand. Like if it would be a 1BB bet, definitely calling. He increased the size a little bit. He was betting like 2 into 4.5. This is like a 45% C bet size, or yeah, like approximately. And then this hand, like GTO wise, we are doing quite a lot of mistakes with a hand like A7 off. And we'll realize our equity probably worse than the solver would do. And then hands like this might become pretty negative pretty fast. But we can take a look at the solver, how this hand should be played. So it might be actually a mistake from my side here. Yeah, we have been full stacked, right? 25 big blinds deep. That's a call. Okay, it's folding. Going to limit his hand, especially with antes. Let's hope he's not isolating. Okay, going to fold. I don't think this is a call. Like 7 big blinds effective, 8-7 off. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's one of the reasons. And also like Yeah, like big blind versus button is actually a spot where a lot of mistakes are happening, right? So I'm currently still studying this spot a lot myself. And I would recommend everyone to do so as well, because even on the flop, there are a lot of hands where I just sometimes call, even though they are like pretty close hands, right? So sometimes I fold, even though it's a call, and sometimes I call, even though it's a fold. So the spots are it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. So I in game I would have marked this hand and then just take a look at the solver later on how I should play this hand. And this is how I study a lot. So basically, yeah, if I'm not 100% sure, because happens to me as well, right? So you can't know every situation. I know how to figure out how to play in every situation, but I don't know every situation by heart, right? That's not how it works. So yeah, then I would have marked this hand and then I would analyze it afterwards. Um, Especially when I'm studying these spots, right? So big blind with small blind with button is one of my study spots at the moment, my personal ones. Teach me how to play turn after check raise. Yeah, I mean, it's played usually pretty straightforward. Like if you hit equity, you just keep barreling, and if not, then you just give up. Oh wow, I think I'm getting it in. He can have worse forex. He might have a six, of course, but he can have just random overcards. He can have a flush draw. I think usually I just go with the second, like with the best four here. It's okay. I still have 21% equity. He can do it with the six, but even if he would have jammed, I would have went with it. Just recreations can be just too random, and our hand is just way too strong. Okay, next. I mean, if it would be like a two-fish game, and I know I have like a little bit of a read, and then I might try to reduce the variance. But usually this is so good of a spot that we shouldn't try to avoid this one. Just always looks bad when when he just had like a top pair.